Okay, so hello to all of you who are just joining now, and for the people watching this or rewatching this at home later. I'm Anne-Sophie from the Green Office Movement, which is a program by Students Organizing for Sustainability International. And in this webinar, we are going to explore the opportunities for volunteers, students, staff, really everyone who has been or is involved within a Green Office. And we will look at how you can take this experience in your future career or study choice. Okay, because we have some people among us, I think, who are not familiar with the Green Office model and movement yet, I will just take 2 minutes to give a quick outline. While I'm doing so, feel free to share your name in the chat, maybe your Green Office or the Green Office you were part of and a story of your time there. Feel free to share what you're proud of maybe a fond memory. This is really up to you. A Green Office is a student-led and staff-supported sustainability hub. And the Green Office does 2 things. Firstly, they inform the community on sustainability topics, for example, by organizing events, campaigns, projects, programs. And secondly, they also support the institution itself to become more sustainable from the inside out. This could be by working on campus greening initiatives, lobbying for more sustainability, and so on. So currently there are 61 Green Offices around the world and more are coming. The most recent addition is the Green Office in Brazil. So if you're watching, guys, welcome. You can find a lot more information about the Green Office movement and model on the website. And yeah, just a heads up, what we do as a movement is organize support activities such as this webinar. So for today's webinar topic, here are some responses from the registration form that we received. So we'll be addressing these and more. For example, how can I describe my Green Office experience? What keywords can I use? Also, I've been with the Green Office for a couple of years. I'm really curious to see what the network can bring me in the future. And also, how can I give back? So I've gained a lot of experience, and I also want to see how I can help others gain the same experience as I did. Okay, so let's have a look at transitioning. And this is really going from being a Green Office member to not being one anymore. So how can you approach this as a person, as an individual, and how can your Green Office approach this? So what are some of the practical tips that Tim and myself have gained over the last year that we can share here with you? Okay, and let's imagine this transitioning journey as going for a walk in a park, or maybe if you're a bit more adventurous, for going a hike in the mountains. So what can you do as a Green Office first? You can see the backpack here on the left. This is all about collecting. And first, before we start picking the right things to take along, we want to select a backpack. And doing so, we really want to rejoice in all of the activities, the achievements, and the efforts that you did collectively. Because you did something as a Green Office, and usually Green Offices do a lot of things. And that's really what counts, at least in sustainability world, because action is really key when it comes to creating a better environment for all of us. So don't hesitate to pick the most beautiful backpack you can find here and also show it off. So if you've done a lot of things, show that you've done a lot of things and show the impact to the people around you, to your institution. Then you can start stocking this amazing backpack with valuable insights, experiences, anything that will benefit your Green Office in the future. So to identify what goes into the backpack, you can evaluate. So this is really about going further than just saying it went well or it didn't go well. You can ask yourself, you can ask the team, why did it go well and what were the conditions, the environment, the internal as well as external factors that resulted in this impact or this outcome. And you can also evaluate all the aspects of it, such as teamwork, communication. You can ask feedback from participants and so on. It's a good thing to evaluate as close to the ending of the activity as possible, because we kind of tend to put on these pink goggles afterwards and tone it down a bit, especially when it comes to fleeting feelings and the less tangible results of a project. So even if the project has been like a great success and there was like a big outcome. If the whole team never wants to talk to each other again, it might be worth writing down what went a bit sour in the end, or what happened. You can learn from this experience after all. Our second step is to look ahead. So we grab our binoculars to gain some perspective. And based on your evaluation, you can think out how the Green Office can improve on the things that didn't go so well. If there were great opportunities and you grasp them, how can you anchor these into a more tangible strategy? And if there were any risks and maybe you won them or you avoided them, how can you make sure to prevent them in the future as well? And then we start walking. Of course, if something went well, you can consider it a good practice and build further on it. So concepts or formulas that work well for your community are definitely worth repeating. So starting over from scratch every time is a bit it's very inefficient, and it might also be a bit tiresome for you in the end. So really building further on the good things that came out of this semester or academic year is something you can take along for the next academic year. And this rings especially true for Green Offices because the turnover for activities is quite high. Also, the turnover for people involved in the Green Office is quite high. You have lots of volunteers coming in and out, job students, staff members. So making sure create an onboarding procedure for new members and volunteers can really help your cause. And to help you, we have 3 resources that are available for Green Office Movement members. So we have the Team Health Check, we have the Green Office Impact Evaluation that's based on Tim's research. We also have the Good Practice Overview. And the first 2 are powerful tools to see once where you excel at as a Green Office and also where you might want to reorient a bit. So it's highly recommended to do this at the end of every semester or whenever you start planning your activities for the next year. And then the Good Practice Overview is a 30-page document filled with information, examples, ideas, inspiration from Green Offices that we have collected over the years. So there's a specific section as well on transitioning. And you can find all the 3 resources in the Resource Hub. If you want to go more in depth, we also offer workshops specifically on the topic. For example, when it comes to onboarding, how should you approach this? How do you measure impact? How can you improve teamwork, and so on? And then if you look at transitioning for you as an individual, here are some tips. So here we are again with our hike. We go on a solo trip now, metaphorically speaking. And to make this more happen more smoothly, first of all, when we collect, you can store in your backpack some things that are valuable for you personally. So when you evaluate your project or your tasks or your outcomes, you can also evaluate your own input and the things that you gained out of it. So some people have set personal goals next to the project's goals, and you can see for yourself if you achieved these goals or what could have been different. You can also give feedback, but also get feedback, even if you're leaving, and especially if you're leaving, this can be valuable for you in the future. So if it's not standard for your Green Office, asking for a chat with your coordinator or a team member or volunteers to really gain some insights in how it was working with you, how it was working with you on a specific project, how you how they experienced you as a manager, a communicator, as a team member, and so on. So this could be very valuable for you to put in your backpack. Looking ahead, here are 3 tips for you. So first of all, tying up some loose ends, especially if you work on the project that is longer than your term. Within the Green Office, you can let people know who they can reach out to you going forward. Also, you can inform your surroundings on who will take over your project, give the email addresses that are necessary. If you want to stay in touch with the Green Office itself or partners and so on, maybe you can get an internship, or you want to build further and get a job with some people you worked with at the Green Office. You can also give them your personal email address. Sometimes people forget and they are not accessible anymore because the student mail inbox does not work anymore. So it could also help to set an automatic reply in your inbox or forward them automatically and so on. Secondly, a care package. So this is really about kind of making sure that your successor is settling in as you would have liked to settle in. So any information that you would have liked to receive when starting this adventure. It could be information about your role, responsibilities, some lessons you learned. Most interesting could be an overview of the very specific actions that you took, maybe some examples of emails that you send, documents that you use a lot, your main contacts, and so on. And then if you work with a transition phase, so this is when your term ends, when a new person starts, so you have an overlap, then you really have the luxury of mentoring your successor. And here you can decide not only to have them watch and learn, but also actively partake already in the process, in the project. And a good start would be communicating, because they will get in touch with your contacts, and so already setting them up via email could be a good start for this. If you don't have the luxury of a transition phase, you can communicate with the courier, with the manager, about the onboarding process itself. Maybe ask how much will they know, how much will they be receiving from information in the onboarding process. So how much do you need to pass on based on your project or any tasks that you currently fulfill. And then we walk. So when you're ready to start, you can ask for a letter of recommendation, an endorsement on LinkedIn. Maybe you can ask people if you can list them as a reference on your CV. So really something you have in writing. It's good to ask this well in advance and not just like one day before the application date for your new job is due. And saying thank you in words is one thing, but yeah, doing actions is a whole other level. If you appreciate others and working together with others, you can recommend them in your turn. And if you do that, the chances are high that they will return the favor as well. And then last here is keeping in touch with your Green Office. So you can become part of the alumni network if they have an alumni network, or you can become part of the alumni Green Office movement network. And I'll tell you a bit more about this at the end of the webinar, because we have an exciting way in which you can continue to be part of the Green Office movement. So that was a mouthful from my side. And here is one last resource you can use. Well, last resource, the Resource Hub has multiple resources on onboarding, handover manuals, guides, and templates. You can all find that in there if you're a Green Office movement member. All right. Are there any questions? You can put them in the chat for now. Okay, all good. Great. All right, then let's continue. So the next stage, transferring. This is really about how you can transfer the skills, the knowledge, and the experiences that you gain during your time at the Green Office, and yeah, how do you put them on your CV, for example? That was the first request that we got, like what keywords can you put on your CV? Oopsie. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so first of all, I want to say that there will appear a lot of words here on the screen, and don't worry, I'll send you the complete list afterwards, so you don't have to write them down at all. You see knowledge, you see skills, and you see competencies. So knowledge are things you know, skills are the things you know how to do well, and competencies is the capability to successfully apply knowledge as well as skills within a specific framework. And so for knowledge, first of all, Green Office is all about sustainability, right? So you will have learned a thing or two about sustainable development. Moreover, you know how the theory translates into practice because you have done it yourself. And if you did a specific project, say reforestation, you probably are quite up to date about the issues, about the existing policies, the legal frameworks, some implementations of it. You might also have gained valuable insights on activism, student participation, and bottom-up initiatives, because that's what the Green Office also stands for. And if you worked with internal stakeholders at your institution, the chances are that you know more about policy-making processes in your institutions than your peers do. So you have a clear advantage there as well. And the same goes for organizational structures. So these can be really huge and hugely complex, especially within universities, because you have students, you have staff, you have management, groups, faculties, departments, and all of these are assembled within one organization. Knowing how to navigate among these stakeholders can be especially valuable if you plan to work in a similar setting. So this could be university, could also be a big organization in which you have multiple stakeholder groups interact with each other. And then community outreach, the Green Office does a lot of that. So you know what attracts the attention of your peers. You also know what kind of communication or activities are well received within your community. So this is maybe an interesting asset for you if you plan to continue working with students in the future. And then let's have a look at skills. So teamwork, of course, is on there because all Green Offices, as far as I know, have at least 2 team members who work together. And then speaking of managing and really these soft skills, we can always say that planning and time management is a very valuable skill for a Green Officer, because you as a full-time student have managed to combine, no doubt, academic excellence with mastery of your and your peers or partners' time and calendars. And while managing your soft skills and the structure around it, you also succeeded in coordinating the project or the activity content-wise. So you have coordinated people. This could be volunteers or your teammates. You also have coordinated events and projects. So really navigating multiple milestones and resources at the same time. You also have probably been moving among like-minded people. So your networking skills might be very much on point. And if you have been able to communicate about your vision and activities within the Green Office, you can also point out marketing communication skills. Some of you have worked with the budgets, so you were able to allocate this appropriately, or you have generated additional funds for subsidies or any other income. So that's also a great skill to write down. And then writing and speaking, I mentioned here because even if you were not as involved in the communication part of your Green Office, you will still have written multiple emails, proposals, you will have spoken about your project, your activities, your role within the Green Office. So you were able to represent yourself and the Green Office in a concise and clear manner. And then competencies. So these are usually framed as competencies for the 21st century. And this is just a non-exhaustive list, of course. So there's a lot of thinking here: system thinking, future thinking, values thinking, strategic thinking. All of these come together in your work. Also social competencies such as interpersonal competencies, which goes back a bit to teamwork and communications. Collaborations, of course, and then 2 very interesting skills that really are highly valued nowadays is problem solving and creativity, because sustainability, of course, is a very complex issue, and to have a go at it and take action on it requires a certain level of creativity and problem solving skills. And then my favorite ones are leadership and professionalism. So these are really about how you as a student, even if that was not your main occupants, you were really involved in making your institution more sustainable. You really took the lead on that, you took actions on that, and you have shown that you are able to perform in a certain way in a semi-professional environment that the Green Office is. Digital competencies could be useful if you have worked with certain technology. And then social citizenship, of course, because you recognize your responsibility as a member of the community or society at large, and you have taken action for a more sustainable future already at a very young age. So that's what I came up with. If you have any other skills, knowledge, competencies to add, please put them in the chat, and also we'll add them to the list that you will receive in your inbox tomorrow. A final tip here is to not put all of them on your CV at once. So you just pick the ones that feel most representative of experience, that you are most interested in developing further in your future career. So really selecting the ones that you want to develop further, because this way you can use your CV not only as a passive response to a job offer, but you actually put it out there as an active list of asks of what you want to expect from your employer. So what you want to do in your job. So maybe you did a lot of volunteer management, but you're more interested in further developing your communication skills because you really enjoyed bringing people together and communicating with them. Then you can highlight the latter on your CV, because motivation goes a long way, right? I'll let you add to the list. Let's see in the chat if any people, if anyone has some additions to that. Or you can just unmute yourself a bit. Any questions about this? All right, a quiet audience. Okay, self-knowledge, yes, okay. Great addition, Tim. Yeah, yeah, and that even goes before you put the others on your CV, because knowing what you're good at and what you really want to do, what your motivations is goes a long way. Delegation, yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good addition. Yeah, you're welcome, Emmy. Okay, great. If you think of any other skill, knowledge, competencies, put them in the chat and they will end up in your mailbox later on. Okay. So then the last stage here is translating. So how do we translate these knowledge, skills, competencies, and interests in 4 realistic life decisions or continuations of your career? And I just thought of 4, but maybe there are more. So we have employment, self-employment, continued education, new engagements. And here are 3 options. So for employment, 3 options for employment. You could look for a job in the sustainability sector. And I'm sure many of you are doing this now if you're graduating soon. Ideally, this is a combination of your expertise, for example, what you studied and some skills that you gained along the way. But even if you're not employed or to be employed in a company that does not have sustainability as its core objective, you can still green your workspace as an entrepreneur. And this is a way to say that you can change your work environment from the inside out, a bit like how the Green Impact program works for those who are in Green Impact with me. And you can, as an entrepreneur, you can also lobby or work towards having sustainability reflected in internal operations or even in products or the services you deliver. And then the third option here is to establish a green office in your workplace. And this is ideal if you work at a university or a higher ed institution, but it can also work if it's not an education institution. For example, it's been done before. There's a green office at the Amsterdam municipality, and it was established by an alumni of the green office at the VU in Amsterdam. Our second course here could be employment. So if you want to be your own boss, if you want to be an entrepreneur yourself, here are 3 valuable skills that might help you in seeing if this is something for you or help you develop your course. First of all, being an independent worker. So being able to work independently, autonomously. If you've showed you're able to do so in the green office, this could be also a trigger to think about being an entrepreneur yourself. Secondly, management skills. So this goes a long way. You have all of the content-wise management skills, project events management skills, but also people skills and especially coordination skills if you have to coordinate your whole business yourself. And then reflexive and strategic thinking. So here is really about thinking about your process and your own actions and feelings while doing it. Also taking decisions, grasping opportunity if they arise, really going with the flow and taking this as a trial and error. So falling down but standing up again. So it might sound very much like some big projects that you have done, big projects that were done for the first time in your institution by the Green Office. So if you already have this growth mindset, you can achieve a lot. And an example here is alumni Emily Swaddle, who was working with Green Office at the University of Utrecht. She is now a coach and facilitator for personal growth with a sustainable approach. And she really takes her Green Office experience within her self-employment. Our third career path is if you continue studying. So if you cannot get enough of books and schooling and you continue studying in your home institution, or you go to a different institution to continue studying. And here, of course, you can join an existing Green Office if they have it. If they don't have it, you can maybe start a new one. So it's really all up to you. And for PhD students, it could be interesting to join existing sustainable networks, or maybe even establishing ones themselves, and really take with them some of the more practical experiences that they gained besides their academic knowledge. And then last but not least is new engagement. So here you can apply experiences, knowledge, and skill sets to things that are maybe done in your free time or as part of your academic course. So it could be a volunteer work, but also interning or doing something besides your studies or your work. And on this, we do have testimonials. Have invited Sarah. Here we go. This is Sarah, but you will also see her on the screen. We go, and I'll pass the mic to Sarah now. Yes, there she is. Here we go.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Anne-Sophie.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah. So, hi everyone. Super nice to be here. I will just give you a 5 minutes. Let me check the time so that 5 minutes. Presentation of what my kind of path was. So that maybe this can be interesting or helpful. I don't know. For sure, for me, the Green Office played a very important role in my career. Like in the beginning of my career, meaning that it was really the kind of the moment where I decided that I wanted to go forward with sustainability, and in this very weird world of pandemics and internships. Lydia, don't worry. If you want to reach out, please feel free to write on LinkedIn. For everybody, actually, whoever has other questions, please feel free to reach out. In general, as I was saying, in this very weird world of internships and where sustainability is something everybody is interested in, but where you have always to be highly skilled to work on. For me, the Green Office was a really, really important experience. So my first message to everybody is, please don't underestimate how cool is what you're doing. You are self-organizing, which is something that at work level, we don't get to do that much, right? Like not at such a young age, as Anne-Sophie was saying, like you get important roles of responsibility. I was communication coordinator in my Green Office, and I mean, you don't get to run campaigns to such a huge amount of people, because we don't realize, but universities are huge. They're like little villages. You can really influence a lot of people and how they perceive what's happening around them, because you can influence their energy system, you can influence campaigns, you can influence lectures, you can influence webinar or workshops, and you have a responsibility. You can reach a lot of people also within your organization. You can be creative, you can show to your future employer concrete results, which is, I think, great, because every time you get asked what you've been doing, that's always cool, right? To see these were the amount of people that we reached. This was, the audience I had. So to share a bit about me, I'm originally from Italy. I studied for my master in the Netherlands, Leiden University, and my experience with the Green Office was very short, because it was my master and I joined during my second semester of my master. So I joined for some 8-9 months. And again, take the most out of it. As it has been said before, I was there and I was just amazed by this amazing thing I was living. So please do all the webinars that the network suggests to you. Suggest your own things, even if they seem maybe very basic. As an Italian, I organized a workshop on vegan, I think it was, vegan, gluten-free and sustainable lasagnas. It might seem something that is very basic, but actually no, it involves a lot of coordination, meeting people, networking, and talking about important stuff. So after my Green Office experience, I decided to apply for an internship at the Council of the European Union. I highly suggest to apply for this kind of traineeships because the institutions of the EU are doing a lot in this sense, and it's very interesting because they have their own Green Offices. So actually, the Green Office was what helped me getting there, because I don't have an academic experience on climate change or sustainability, but they were very impressed by the amount of stuff that we take on our shoulders, basically, when we are running a Green Office. So they were very, very impressed. And it was very helpful, and I really saw a previous work experience being useful in a following work experience, which is always the best that you can hope, because you don't get there and you're like, I don't know how to do anything. I knew actually how to do it because I had done it just in a slightly smaller scale. So that helped, and that helped me applying for the next internship, which was at the Green European Foundation, which is the political foundation of the Green Party at the European Parliament. From there, I was promoted as a project assistant and project coordinator, always working on this kind of thing. So always working on these themes that I had no preparation academically for, but that I had been trained on, working on. And this led to my last step, which actually starting in some days. So everybody, please cross your fingers, because I'm moving to Berlin to work for actually what the Green Office does. They convince companies, which can be even more stubborn than universities, to be more sustainable and to lower their emissions. So this is all to say, I think this is a great opportunity. Please don't shy out. Please take the most out of it. As a network, it gives a lot. The people you are meeting now are going to be super motivated, and it's such a cool thing to keep in touch. And I think I'm even 1 minute over, so my 5 minutes are over. But really, if there is since we are a network, if there is anything, any question, anything you want to talk about, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I will have to probably jump out a bit sooner than the end of the call, so apologies for that, but please feel free to reach out. I pass it back to you.
Thank you, Sarah. That was great. I mean, so inspiring. Thanks for your testimonial, and really keep us up to date about your work situation, because it sounds fascinating. All right. I'm gonna go back here. There is Sarah again. And I just want to wrap up today's webinar with some exciting news, because here we go. Yes, we're starting a Green Office Movement Ambassador track. And this is really a short program for those who want to stay engaged and build further on their experiences as a Green Officer or Green Office alumni, and really to be able to connect with other people who want to do something similar by helping emerging Green Offices, really to keeping this momentum and staying engaged and motivated in their future. So why are we setting up the ambassador track? We've seen that over the last years, Green Offices and individuals have played a phenomenal role and already have acted as natural ambassadors for the Green Office movement and the model. So for example, shout out to Liège here. I'm not sure if they're in the call, but they really helped set up, or are helping to set up, Green Offices in Morocco now. They also reach out to other Green Offices or established or like emerging Green Offices in Belgium, and they're helping to bring the movement to Switzerland. Also, UPeace is a university in Costa Rica, and they were actually, the Green Office there was established by students from Leiden University. So that's a great way to connect and being involved when you are continuing your education in a different place. And then some years back, we had the first Green Office established on the continent of Africa, in Uganda, at the Makerere University. And this was realized with outreach from Georgia, who was volunteering for the Green Office movement, and who was also working together with the Italian Green Offices. So we really want to encourage and support the people that do this, that take the initiative, and our intention is to offer a more structured support and formally reward those who want to be ambassadors for the Green Office model. So we came up with a 4-month ambassador track. So who can be a Green Office movement ambassador then? So this is mainly an offer for current Green Office students, volunteers, coordinators, also Green Office alumni, so people who will leave the Green Office soon, or who have done so a couple of years back. It really matters. Anyone with a Green Office experience is welcome. And especially exchange students, because you really bridge 2 different regions or institutions, and this could be a very fruitful connection as well, and interaction, and it could be very nice for your network personally. And then we also welcome national and regional student organizations who wish to promote the Green Office model to join the track. So if you're not one of these groups, but you still want to engage, feel free to check out the website, because it might be that the rest of your question can be found on there. We also will continue all of the resource provision and all of the outreach and the support that we are currently continuing. All right, so then what can you do as a Green Office ambassador? And this could be supporting Green Office initiatives, so helping Green Offices making, helping them to lobby in their own institution, being a contact person, and so on. You can also help to spread the Green Office model, especially if you're keen on speaking in front of big audiences. We do get quite a lot of requests for conferences, for webinars, for, I don't know, anything related to presenting the Green Office model and then specifically your role in that. So it's nice to give you the mic and the stage for a change, because we're out of the system for some years now. And yeah, so this could be an option for you. You can also help to identify Green Office partners. So these could be organizations that are interested in spreading the model, reaching out to them, maybe teachers, other institutions that you know, people that you can connect. And this is, of course, ideal work from home, or if you are a bit more shy and you want to mainly send emails or stuff like that. If you're a wizard with words, we have this option for you about diversifying the Green Office model. So you translate or interpret existing resources to different languages. We already have quite some languages that have the Green Office resources in them. Recently, we added Russian, but we still have the languages left, of course. So if you want to translate something, or if you want to be a contact person for a Green Office in a new country, then that's also yeah, perfect idea of for an ambassador option for you. And all of the information is already online, so you can find it on our website, ambassador track after that. And yeah, so then what's the difference with doing this on your own and doing this within the track? So it's a 4-month period of time that we use to really support you and to really make sure that you can take action together with other people. And we help you in that by providing training. So we have exchange calls for you. We also invite some outreach experienced people. And you can really exchange with your network of other ambassadors to see how it goes and yeah, what motivates you and what works well and so on. And more content-wise, we have just templates. We will have an ambassador's guide. And as I said, you will be part of a network of ambassadors. And we reserve a special spot for you on the Exchange platform. So it also means that you will get continued access to all Green Office Movement resources, to activities, anything we offer as a support to existing Green Offices. And we're there for you, of course. So we will have a hotline, a one-on-one support for ambassadors only. Of course, we'd love to mention you on our website as well. And at the end, we will grant you a certificate and also personalized letter of recommendation if you wish that. So if the timing sounds a bit difficult to you, because I know for some it's almost exam time, this track can be done completely on your own pace. So you can start a bit later. We will also try to record all of the training, all of the exchange sessions. Of course, it's nice if you can join, but we know that we'll have a lot to do, and over summer, it's not always ideal. So we will kick off somewhere in mid-May, and then we'll wrap up by September or in September. And together we decide how this track will look like, and together we also decide how you can play a role in that. So it's really more or less a supporting framework for you to take action in. If you don't think you can make it within this framework at all, so till September you're completely fully booked, you can already sign up, and maybe we can open a next track in the fall of 2021, and then you can join then. So it's still possible for you to sign up, and you can go to the website and you can find the form there. So you will have access to all of the resources and so on from the moment that you sign up. So yeah, please apply for before the May the 12th, so we can set up the first exchange call, and we'll see from there it goes. It's also a bit looking at what you want to do and what you're interested in, and I will mail all of this information to you afterwards as well. So that's it for now. If you have to run and you have more questions, feel free to reach out to me. But if you have some more time and maybe some burning questions for me or for Sarah, if she's still around, you can stay on and we'll have a bit of a Q&A now. So thanks for watching.